Welcome, everybody, to Your Soul as well. This is Vivía, and I am here with another video on, you guessed it, astrology. We're talking today about the full moon in Scorpio. It happens on May 1st, which will be the day I publish this video. That's my timing these days. I am trying to get ahead of that. However, May 1st of the Gregorian calendar 2026. Now, this month we have a blue moon, which means that it's a blue moon month because we have two full moons in the calendar, and then it's the new moon sandwiched in between. So on May 1st, we have a full moon in Scorpio at 11 degrees of Scorpio. May 16th, we have a new moon at 25 degrees of Taurus, and then the second full moon happens on May 31st at 9 degrees with Sag. Now, keep in mind, this is happening because we're not supposed to have 31 days in a month. We're supposed to have 28. And if we were following the natural calendar of 28 days, 13 months, then we would never have blue moons. This is a phenomenon that is not naturally occurring. It is because we are all following, or the Western world is following, the false light calendar. Just keep that in mind. I'm always going to remind you on every video because repetition is the mother of all learning. We're all here to learn, aren't we? Let's break down the moon. Let's look at it. Scorpio is the sign that represents regeneration and transformation. Its natural house is the 8th house, which is an occulted house, so it's not visible. It's one of the houses that is not visible to others. So in your life, the things that are most hidden would be the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th. The 8th being the Scorpionic house. It deals with taboo topics. It deals with things that are not easily seen. It deals with the cycles of death and rebirth. That is the axis of Taurus and Scorpio, the natural 2nd and 8th houses. It always brings with a very transformative and intense energy. Scorpio, more than any other sign, deals with crises and having to face crises and deal with it, forcing regeneration, forcing that transformation, and forcing that growth. Oftentimes with Scorpio, but through this process, we learn to release, and then the regeneration comes through that. So this full moon happens at 11 degrees and 21 minutes of Scorpio. So to read the Chandra symbol, we round up to Scorpio 12, which is a young man with a frail body, but a beautiful and noble face. Old roots crumbling, new self emerging, historic underpinnings not very strong. The vision of what can be burns bright and clear. You've been held back a long time by questions about health and safety, viability and durability, always seeming on the way out, yet the internal image of who you are intended to become looms large and seeks to become incarnated. The battle between what could never be and what must emerge. The underlying feeling tone is that somehow, barely, despite all odds, the infinite one can be born directly in the shell of the one who could not be, and then all bets are off. Absolutely anything is possible. If we look at the chart here, the Sun and Pluto are square to one another. So this is about power. Squares, remember, are tension producing, but help us develop ourselves, our character. And with the Sun and Pluto coming into a square, it is about power dynamics, dealing with authority. It could be your inner authority. It would depend on where it falls in your chart. It could be external authority, male figures. So male figures of authority, people in control and in charge. And the Sun also deals with our core selves, our true selves, our goals, our external goals, very often our work and what we put forth into the world. So there is this happening. Remember that a full moon always means that the Sun and the moon are in opposition to one another in the sky, also therefore as denoted in the chart. Now, full moon will always illuminate for us in that night sky, and with Scorpio, it's about illumination of secrets. Things that have been kept hidden will now come to light. Things that have been buried will be exposed. The traditional ruler, Scorpio, is Mars. Mars is here in domicile in Aries, its home sign. So it is able to act out its Martian qualities fully. So it's helping us activate and get done what we need to do. Mars is in a square with Jupiter, still in Cancer at 19 degrees. Now, this is great in our own personal lives for being able to take action, expand, and to move ourselves forward. Even though it is a square, squares to Jupiter can be less tension producing than other squares. However, it could also mean that in your lives that we do have to watch coming across or being too aggressive or impulsive or trying to move things forward too fast and too soon. We do have to come with that awareness towards our actions. The modern day ruler of Scorpio, of course, is Pluto. Powerful, powerful Pluto in Aquarius, helping us shape and transform the collective in Aquarius. So that Pluto is in square to the sun, the other aspect of this full moon, the sun in Taurus. So although there is that square between the sun and Pluto, facing off perhaps with people in positions of power, the dispositor of the sun is Venus, found right now at 9 degrees of Gemini, co-present with Uranus and Gemini. But Venus and Pluto are in trine, so they are in harmony with one another, having a wonderful and deep, beautiful conversation. So because she is the dispositor of the sun is square to that Pluto, just using Venus's love for harmony and love for, because Venus loves to be in agreement and loves for things to flow between relationships. So use that energy that Venus brings to smooth things out and not let things get too heated in conversations, in relationships, and in our everyday situations with this full moon. Venus and Saturn are in sextile, so this brings added stability to these relationships and stability to our finances too. So this full moon could be highlighting for us some financial or relational situations that are coming to light and things that are being exposed, things that are coming to light, things that are needing to be seen. And Saturn and Neptune, both of them also are sextiling Pluto. Saturn again bringing this stability and consistency to the energy that Pluto has here and is conveying to the moon. Sextiles bring opportunities. Opportunity here for consistency with whatever we're working through. It will depend on your chart. It will depend on where Saturn lies in your chart. And Neptune, of course, deals with many things, being able to dream, but also needing to look at what is illusion, what is not working. And when it comes together with Pluto, Pluto being the planet that likes to go deep and seek truth and seek that level of integrity, calling us to look beyond what is illusion, look beyond what is deception, to see that, to get to the core of the dream and what will sustain. I'm Vivía. This is my channel, Your Soul as Well. I'm a Western tropical astrologer. I love using astrology and other forms of astrology as a tool to help us navigate rapidly changing times and using it to create our fabulous lives. If you like that and you like this, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check if you are still subscribed. If you subscribed before, like the videos, share the videos out to anybody you think might have benefit from them. It really helps the channel grow. And make sure to leave me a comment. Let me know about you, your life. Share what's happening in your life at this full moon. So Scorpio, the full moon is here in your first house. Your first house is all about you, yourself. This is the most potent full moon for you, Scorpio. Highlighting you, offering depth and transformation of self, helping you with your own personal identity, perhaps moving you in a new direction. So it's asking you to empower yourself, look deep within self, and use this time to really get clear about who you are and what you want moving forward. Scorpio, for you, the T-square happens, of course, with Pluto here in your fourth, squaring the first house with the moon and the seventh house with the sun. Remember, this is your relationship axis. So the sun is shining there in your 7th house. So maybe truth being revealed to you and something being shown to you about something that is not working, perhaps something that has to end, contract, a business negotiation, a business deal, perhaps a partnership, but also things might start up, things end, and then they come into bloom again. Remember, whatever is leaving will make room for the new that will come in. Pluto in your 4th house. So this is, you have the moon in your 1st house, obviously, the sun in your 7th, and you've got Pluto in your 4th. So this is really, as you know, for Scorpio, for the next 20 years, Pluto going through your 4th is changing the foundation of who you are. And this Pluto being the ruler, it's really asking you to go deep and look at anything that isn't working for you. It's time to rearrange the furniture in your house, so to speak, in order to get yourself on good footing, on good grounding. Many of you with Pluto going through, maybe investing in real estate or property or just changing things up on the home front. But it could also be about the your emotional foundation being shifted with Pluto here, especially since now you have Uranus going through your 8th house, a house known for depth psychology. You've got Jupiter in your 9th house. For some of you, you might want to travel, take up new studies with Jupiter here. And Venus and Saturn are aspecting in your 8th and your 6th house. So something to do with your work and your daily habits. And for you, this could be some type of confrontation at work with somebody, a person of authority, an employee, or a coworker, or something in your daily life. But remember to bring in that harmony from Venus to make those conversations flow easier, smoothing out any tension. So this is where Mars is placed for you too, here in your 6th house of daily activity, of habits, and of your work. So making sure to really take really good care of your health is going to be stressed at this time. Thanks, Scorpio, for listening. I'll catch you in the next video. Stay blessed. Sagittarius, you've got the full moon happening in your 12th house. This is a hidden house. It deals with our inner psychology. It can deal with our past. It can deal with our dreams, going away, isolating from the world. And for you needing to take a break, maybe going on a retreat, taking care of self through meditation or journaling, paying attention to your dreams. Whenever I see anything in the 12th house, that is always top of mind for me. Sagittarius, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 3rd, squaring the moon in your 12th, and the sun going through your 6th house, highlighting your daily habits, your work habits, your health habits, paying attention to that. For you, Venus is in your 7th house here with Uranus here. So bringing that harmony through your relationships, your significant other, any type of contracts. And that sextile to Venus is in with Saturn in your 5th house. So something for you, perhaps with your creativity, romance, something with romance blooming and stabilizing for you. Of course, Pluto is in your 3rd house. So it's helping you with your immediate environment and your communication, and perhaps some of your siblings, if you have siblings or extended family, are going through some type of transformation. But that moon for you is your 12th house. So pay attention to your inner dialogue, your inner peace. Keep in mind, something to do with daily habits may need to end right now. All right, Sagittarius, thank you for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next video. Stay blessed. Capricorn, the full moon is happening in your 11th house. So something here being illuminated in your house of collaborations, social networking, friendships, groups, your dreams, your long-term dreams, your long-term vision and goals for yourself is here in this house. So things are switching up here. Maybe something that you thought was going to happen with your dreams or your groups. Maybe something is ending, but remember, if it does end, it's just because something new wants to be reborn here. The axis for you is this 11th and the 5th house, this with the sun being here in your 5th house of creativity and romance and your passions and your passion projects. Capricorn, the T-square with Pluto in your 2nd, squaring the moon in your 11th and the sun in your 5th. So something for you could be ending in order for something new to bloom. A new romance, new group, new networking, a new way to bring in income through the 11th house. So Pluto for you is in your 2nd house. So this is changing up your money, how you make money, your values, and things that you own. But for you, that sextile with Saturn, Saturn being in your 4th house, is a foundational house for you. So Saturn and Aries, Saturn and Mars both here. Saturn needing to change something, maybe stabilize something within your foundation, your home, and your whole 4th house here with all that energy of Aries could be changes with home, with your inner security, with your own foundation. And Venus, of course, here in your 6th house of health, of daily habits. Make sure to not overindulge, especially with sweet things that Venus loves. That is your 6th house of health and health habits. But she is there blessing your house of your work house too. So if your daily work, she will be there blessing you in that. All right, Capricorn, thanks for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Stay blessed. Aquarius rising. It's an important moon for you because you've got the sun here. You're one of the fixed signs. You've got the sun in the 4th house and the moon in the 10th house. So this axis is public recognition and career, how you're seen out in the world, and your 4th house of home, foundation, family life. Something is being illuminated here in your 10th house. Something could be ending. It could be a job path you're on. It could have something to do with an authority, a person in power for you. It could be something with that person is ending because this is that same house. And the sun here, this axis of something in your 4th house also being highlighted. Perhaps something needing to end, dealing with this very public and visible house in order for something to take root here in your 4th house. Aquarius, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 1st, squaring the moon in your 10th and the sun in your 4th. And it is the modern day ruler of this moon. And just Pluto being in your 1st, that alone is just such profound change for you, profound change of self, of life direction, of how you identify. For, well, Pluto's time in the Aquarius house is 20 years. You've got it sextiling here to Saturn in your 3rd house. And of course, that's where Mars is, and the whole stellium here in Aries. And your 3rd house has to do with communications, traveling, short journeys, your siblings. So something maybe formalizing here in any one of those areas. And maybe if you work in media anyway, maybe with a podcast, something to do with your website, any type of writing, something deep, stabilizing here with Saturn here. And of course, we've got Mars here too. So initiation in those areas here as well. Keep in mind, the 3rd house also deals with your immediate environment, extended family, like cousins, for example, and obviously siblings. So this could relate to them as well. Venus for you is in your 5th house here, co-present with Uranus. Now that your 5th house is about your creativity, about romance, about taking a chance, about fun and pleasure in the heart. Great place for Venus to be. So use Venus's energy of love and beauty to bring about the best in your expression, your self-expression, in any type of projects you're working on, and certainly in romance. If that is budding for you right now, use Venus's energy towards that pure happiness and bliss that is found here in this 5th house. She's quite flirty, in Gemini, so use that to your advantage. All right, Aquarius, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. I will catch you on the next video, and stay blessed. Pisces, you have got the moon in your 9th house. And the axis for you that's highlighted is the 9th house here and the 3rd house with the sun being in the 3rd. Now, so what's being highlighted for you is this 9th house that has to deal with our belief systems, higher education, our worldview, our faith. It could deal with religion for some people or spirituality for some of you, because moons culminate and bring things to an ending. Perhaps a worldview point or a belief, a strongly held belief is coming to an end for you. Perhaps this depth and deep moon is highlighting some type of journey that is needing to end, or perhaps some of you are finishing off studies. Whatever it is, know that this is bringing about the best for you in terms of your journey and your transformation. Pisces, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 12th, squaring the moon in your 9th. and the sun in your third. You have the sun here in your third house. So maybe it's time to spend more time working within your own immediate environment. This is the neighborhood house, of course. Not so much traveling. So Pluto for you is in your 12th house. Of course, the modern day ruler of this moon. And so it's this moon for you is about deep, perhaps some deep processes, things that are really hidden in your subconscious, things that need to come to light now. And for some of you, it could deal with money because Saturn is here in your second house. So, and Mars too, so perhaps ending a thought pattern that is not helping you move forward, not helping you expand into who you are becoming and the transformation that is needed to be done now. With Venus in your fourth, also Uranus is there. Uranus is really changing things up for you with it being in your fourth and foundational house. And with Venus being co-present here and the dispositor of the sun in your third, this could be about learning about wealth through investments in land in your own home, beautifying your home, perhaps renovating your home to make it look more beautiful for you, but just bringing a general harmony and ease here to your inner emotional landscape found through the fourth house, which is our instinctual knowing of self. That is all changing up for you with Uranus being here for you. And Mars as well, the traditional ruler of this moon being in your second house. Mars and Saturn being here in your second house. The second house is about our own view of self, our own self-worth and self-respect. So changes here for you in this area. Mars likes to cut things, and Pluto being in your 12th house, your psychological house, maybe ending thoughts of not being worthy and not deserving. And I just see Saturn is trying to stabilize some type of that kind of thing, stabilizing new thought patterns and stabilizing even because of its connection to Pluto, new thought patterns, new patterns of self-worth, going really deep to transform these any outdated beliefs you have around self. All right, Pisces, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Aries, the full moon is happening in your 8th house, the natural house of Scorpio. This is you have Scorpio in your natural house of the 8th house, and you've got the moon here, highlighting something for you. So this axis that's being highlighted is the 8th and the 2nd. And with the moon highlighting the 8th house, your very hidden, occulted, taboo topic house. It's a house of joint resources, income from others. It could be any type of income that you get that you don't generate yourself. It could be investment, residual income, money from partnerships, from spouses, also death and taxes. All those things are here. Something here is ending. It could be something very deep and psychological because this is your house of depth and the house that deals with psychology. So something coming to an end, and something highlighted here also in your second house where the sun is. Perhaps if it is a generated income outside of self, the sun in your second wants to bring an income that you make directly. Aries, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 11th squaring the moon in your 8th and the sun in your 2nd. Pluto in your 11th is changing the terrain of your networking, your groups. And that is the modern day ruler of this moon. So it could have changes for you financially through income, like long-term vision and views of self and money coming in through other sources for you, because that is Pluto in the 11th, like really transforming this house of how you view yourself and wealth that you generate, perhaps online. But it aspects as well Saturn and Mars in your first house. Well, Saturn in your first house, and Mars is here as well. So this is, of course, with Saturn being in your first house of self, and Neptune and big stellium here, it really is putting you in a spotlight. I'm asking you to address anything that comes up about yourself. Some of you, it could be changing how you look, changing how you view your life, the course that you're on, making changes so that you can accommodate your new vision of self and how you want to move yourself forward. Venus is in your third, co-present with Uranus. Now Uranus is shaking this house up for 7 years, and this house is your mind. This is your mind. Be prepared for electric thoughts, new thoughts coming in. And Venus being here is going to help you harmonize as it aspects Saturn in your first house, harmonize self and harmonize your relationships, especially in your immediate environment or with your siblings or with some of your extended family. But this is also your house of communication and your house of media, and if you have a website or if you do a podcast. So this is really a nice benevolent energy for the time that she is here, aspecting, of course, Saturn and Mars, and then the dispositor of the sun in your second. So perhaps helping you bring in some wealth. Maybe it's through writing or podcasting or some brilliant new idea that comes in for you. Okay, Aries, thank you so much for listening. I hope you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Stay blessed. Taurus, you are one of the fixed signs where this is happening. And the very important self and other access the first and seventh house. The seventh house here is where the moon is found, highlighting something here in the seventh house that perhaps is coming to a culmination point and a shifting point. It could be ending. It could be a relationship. This is the relationship house. For some of you, that could be an intimate relationship, a business partnership, a contract. It could be your audience, something finalizing and shifting here, because this is your business house, marketplace, and partnership house. Taurus, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 10th, squaring the moon in your 7th, and the sun in your 1st. Pluto here in your 10th house, so that really reinforces some type of transformation and change, because that's your 10th house of public image and career, and things really shifting for you, with the sun in your 1st house asking you to prioritize yourself needs and what needs to be addressed for you to be healthy, for you to take care of self. And to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and not putting others before you. Now, you've got Venus in your 2nd house, co-present with Uranus. Of course, Uranus is going to be here till 23/3, shaking up this 2nd house of finances and self-worth for you. So while Venus is here, use this time to help you harmonize all of your relationships. Of course, Venus is your ruler, and she is making the ruler of the sun and then your ruler, and she's making a positive aspect to Saturn with that whole stellium here, Neptune, Saturn, Mars, Chiron, and Mercury in your 12th house, very subconscious house, very deep house. So with these planets here, it's time to reassess, really taking care of, again, just doubling down and taking care of self, taking care of your thoughts, having good, nice thoughts, harmonious thoughts about self. Try to stay away from self-deprecating thoughts and judgment of self. So Mars likes to cut away, so use it to cut away any negativity or things that aren't working. Saturn, of course, it's going to be in this house for roughly just over 2 years now, and use that to help you. For me, the 12th house has so much to do with our dreams, our dream landscape, but it's like also meditation and isolation from the world, and really just getting a good grasp on our inner being. You know, if you listen to my channel, I talk lots about that. I think meditation is key. I think writing, journaling is really important. And in self-care, and with Saturn here, and Mercury obviously here in this house, it's just time to do this if you don't already do it. And if you do, double down. Use Saturn's influence here for the next 2-ish years to really discipline in monitoring your thoughts, writing them out, paying attention to your dreams, taking time to self-care, and step away from the world if you need to. Okay, Taurus, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to leave me a comment, and I will catch you in the next video. Stay blessed. Gemini, you have the moon and the sun highlighting the axis of your 6th and 12th house, with the moon being in your 6th house, culminating and reaching a conclusion here. So perhaps needing to end some bad habit or a habit that no longer works, perhaps some type of work situation no longer being useful, perhaps something to do with a coworker. For some of you, it might deal with pets if you have pets, maybe rental property, something ending here. But remember, whatever ends, it's because something better wants to come in for you. You've got the sun highlighted Sun's shining in your 12th house of your inner landscape of your dreams. So maybe your dreams are really coming to light right now. Gemini, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 9th, squaring the moon in your 6th, and the sun in your 12th. The modern day ruler of this moon is Pluto in your 9th house of Aquarius. So lots of depth and transformation going through your house of your belief system, your worldview, your faith being challenged right now by that Pluto. And for you, this Aries stellium and the traditional ruler of the Scorpio moon is Scorpio Full Moon is Mars in your 11th house. Now, the 11th house deals with your networks, your vision for self, any organizations that you belong to. And it's a big money house, right? 2 from the 10th, right? Our money house. So money made online is here. And you've got all these planets here. With Mars being here, something maybe ending, Mars wants to cut something away, perhaps, to initiate something else in these areas. So it could deal with any of those things that I just said. And then with Saturn here being there for the 2-ish years that it'll still be there for, it wants to bring some type of discipline, wants you to discipline something in this house, bring some type of consistency and a serious tone in this house of networks, friendships in your higher money house, especially since you've got Jupiter here too in your 2nd house, at least until the end of June of this year. So some type of expansion with your own money, but it could be spending money as well. So just be aware of that. Obviously, Uranus is in your 1st house and you're changing up a lot of things about yourself, personal appearance, it could be self-identification, really maybe the course of your whole life. And Venus is here co-present with Uranus and is aspecting Saturn in your 11th house. So using that Venus's harmony to make sure that things stay nice in your relationships, with friendships, in your groups. All right, Gemini, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Stay blessed. Cancer, you've got this sun and moon highlighting the axis of your 11th and 5th house, with the moon being in your 5th house. So the moon, as it culminates and brings something to closure and fully illuminates this 5th house. So it could be, well, the 5th house deals with our creative inspirations, our passion projects, can deal with romance and dating. It could deal with something to do with our children. So it could changing relationship with the child. Perhaps a child is packing up or moving, or just something in general changing with your child. It could be new dynamics with that child. It could have something to do with a romance. So something in this area is changing for you, being highlighted. This Scorpio moon is highlighting depth and transformation and bringing about truth. Cancer, the T-square for you is with Pluto in your 8th, squaring the moon in your 5th and the sun in your 11th. With the sun being in your 11th house, it could also deal with something to do with your friendships, your networks, your bigger vision for your life, your long-term dreams here. We've got Pluto in your 8th house of intimacy and romance, and it's squaring your moon, right? It's making a T-square really with so Pluto for you is in your 8th house. So it's really bringing about secrets, and it's about truth bombs dropping here for sure, perhaps highlighting and bringing about information that you didn't know about shared resources, intimacy. So for some of you, this could be a great thing, exploring intimate realms that you haven't explored before, learning about resources that you never had or didn't know were available to you. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. We always go to the worst case scenario, but it could be the best case scenario. Anyhow, it's in your 8th house of secrets, pretty profound, in your 5th house of romance, and also another sexual house too, and then your 11th house. So keep that in mind. Now, Venus for you is in your 12th house, so the bed pleasure house. So this is actually kind of all looking kind of good for some of you. Anyhow, Venus is there. You use Venus's beauty and love of harmony to help you relate in some way, because this is aspecting Saturn here, mostly Saturn in your 10th house of public recognition and career. And of course, you've got the stellium here and the traditional ruler, Mars, in Aries. For some of you, something could be being cut away with your work, your public reputation, something ending here. It could deal with somebody in authority. And of course, with this house being shifted up for you over the next well, a few years with Saturn here. Maybe it's being seen as an authority for some of you. And of course, you still have Jupiter in your first house, expanding your sense of self. For some of you, having a new and inspired view of yourself and changing the course of your life with Jupiter here. All right, Cancer, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you on the next video. And stay blessed. Leo rising, you've got the moon in your 4th house and the sun in your 10th, and that's the axis that's being highlighted to the 4th with the moon there, coming into culmination and closure, something. Maybe some of you are moving and switching homes. It could be something to do physically with your home. It also could be about your own emotional landscape within, something there shifting because something is being highlighted to you here. It could have to do with a significant other, with Pluto being here forming the T-square between the moon and the sun for you. And the sun is very public here in this 10th house. So for some of you, this could be also affecting changes in your reputation, your career, something to do with your work out in the world. And because you've got Jupiter in your 12th, this is really also expanding another subconscious house for you, and house of dreams and the invisible, the spiritual realm is here. So paying attention to your dreams will be important. And of course, you've got Venus in your 11th house of friends and friendships, of course, co-present with Uranus, which is changing this whole landscape for you for the next 7 years. But Venus here speaking with, mostly with Saturn here, and Saturn is here in your, Saturn in that whole stellium is here in Aries, your 9th house. And Mars is the traditional ruler of this moon, and Mars likes to cut things away. So maybe something for you ending around your belief systems, your worldview. Could be long distance travel. It could be schooling or education for some of you. But with Saturn being here in this house, this is a long-term transit that deals with creating structure in this house here for you, this 9th house, that deals with those things. So some type of structure, perhaps for some of you, it's higher education and learning and setting a pace for yourself to really succeed. For some of you, it could be those things I mentioned, traveling, or something to do with your beliefs, your core beliefs, your world viewpoint, and that change over time that maybe will gradually happen as Saturn shifts you slowly as it moves through this sign. All right, Leo, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Stay blessed. Virgo, the sun and moon are highlighting your 3rd and 9th house, with something culminating and perhaps ending in the 3rd. And this is the house of this is your mental realm, your thoughts. It's your house of communication. It's your house of short distance travel. It could deal with your car. It deals with your early childhood education, your siblings, your cousins. So something ending in any one of these topics. So it could be something ending with a sibling or a cousin. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. It could, for some of you who have careers in media or writing, maybe something is ending here. But you've got the sun here in your 9th house, and it's wanting you to expand your thinking and expand your mind, expand your worldview. So maybe it's limited thinking or staying small or staying stuck in one place. The T-square for you is happening with Pluto in your 6th house of your daily habits, your health habits, your work, your workplace. Could deal with your pets too. So Pluto is transforming and going through the 6th house of yours really for the next, well, the whole cycle is 20 years. So it's been there already for a year and has 19 more to go through as it changes this 6th house for you. So for some of you, it's really doubling down on taking care of yourself, your habits. It's your daily habit house. So being sure to use that energy to transform, to make your life better. And the traditional ruler is Mars in Aries, and that big Aries stellium is happening here for you in your 8th house, the natural house of Scorpio. So things shifting here, things being cut away here, things that no longer serve you, old, outdated practices, trauma is stored here. So perhaps doing some work to cut that away. And Saturn is here, Saturn and Neptune both, but Saturn going through this house, wanting you to develop some structures around the areas that this house relates to. So that is investments, that is other people's resources. And again, that is any trauma that's stored here, and it's anything occulted. So it could do with your sexuality, your sexual identity, how you relate that way. So looking at these things and seeing what needs to change, what needs to be refined, what needs to be worked on. Of course, you got Venus co-present with Uranus in your 10th house. So your whole 10th house, how people see you, your career, your public recognition, that's being changed. And that's a big deal, huge deal for you, Virgo rising. And Venus is in your 10th house too. So good time for niceties out in public, in the workplace. Good. And she's helping you out here with Saturn in your 8th. So they're talking. And of course, for you, with Jupiter going through your 11th house, there should be an expansion here. And Jupiter will be there until the end of June this year. So expansion in your networks and your groups and your friendships, and feeling that really benevolent energy. All right, Virgo, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next video, and stay blessed. Libra, this full moon, the Scorpio full moon, is highlighting the 2nd and 8th house for you. The T-square for you is with Pluto in your 5th, squaring the moon in your 2nd and the sun in your 8th. So the 2nd house with the moon is culminating, might be bringing something to closure that deals with your own self-worth. It could have to do with the money that you make, perhaps from a job. It could be with your own actual possessions, things that you own. Now, don't worry. That doesn't mean it has to happen. It could be a realization of something that is happening, because you have Pluto here squaring in a T-square here. And that Pluto is transforming your house of passions and pleasures and adventure and your true heart's yearnings. And as it goes through, maybe it's showing you a better way to work, doing work that really inspires you and helps bring about that true transformation and change. And with the sun also highlighting your 8th house, it could be for some of you relying more on resources, partners, maybe a partner's income, maybe resources that come in from other means, investments, residual income, as opposed to money that you go out and make yourself. So that could be a bonus for many of you out there. The stellium for you is in your 7th house of relationships. So that could be an intimate other, that could be a business partner, that could be just your audience. With Mars here, Mars likes to cut away. So it could be cutting something away here that no longer serves you. It could be a contract that's ended. You've got also Neptune going through here and Saturn. But for some of you, Mars did cut something away. With Mercury going through here, there could have been new contracts coming about. And with Saturn being here for the next 2 or so years, this will be about building in structures that serve you long-term through the 7th house lens of partnerships and contracts. And you've got Jupiter up in your 10th house. So that's expanding your 10th house of career and public recognition. Then it will move at the end of June. Venus is in your 9th house, co-present with Uranus. So this 9th house of yours is being changed over the next 7 years. And with Venus here, it's about bringing harmony and benevolence here to this 9th house of expanding your worldview. And that Venus is helping Saturn out here and helping out your 7th house. And of course, she is the dispositor of the sun. So helping to ease out any conflict and smooth things out for you through your 7th house and perhaps your 8th house as well, through authorities, through the Pluto and Sun, and through perhaps partnerships in your 7th. Okay, Libra, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you, and I will catch you on the next video. Well, beloved souls, thank you so much for listening to this video. I really appreciate and love you all so much for being here. I hope to be back soon with another video, and stay blessed.